Yeah, they're sending a lot of stuff over transplanting here.
From the Netherlands.
From
Yes,
the Netherlands,
but
yeah.
also they were sending stuff back too.
Yeah.
But in ways that's more into science, as it were, rather than what you might find in gardens. A domestic garden that's going to be not dissimilar to the contents of an English garden, but not quite the same. And again, pretty much in mostly rectangular layers.
Anything else on gardens?
We looked at the plants for Dutch excavation, and when the original work was done, I dismissed it as all weeds. All weeds, all we had was weeds. Peaches, early on tobacco, and amaranth, quinua. And then I went back to the Dutch ethnobotany and to the herbalists of the time. And what I had dismissed as weeds in the 80s were all medicines and industrial products for dyeing and weaving and things. And so that everything that we found could be attributed to a commercial. All of them were from Europe. Everything was a weed introduced, flax and everything else. We had almost no cultigens, except for the quinopods and amaranth, which were sold as wheat business from birdseed. That was their big market. But nothing was ornamental until the 19th century.
What was sold as birdseed?
Quinopod, amaranth. Amaranth, which is a primary protein source for Native Americans, was dismissed as a weed throughout the Americas by the Spanish and the Americans, but was a major religious significance and was commercialized by the Dutch as bird seed, which was big business in 1660. And
Jeremiah Van Messer imports birdseed.
Stuyvesant sends bird seed out to his birds and curacao.
And that was quinoa.
Yes.
Amaranth, which is a weed.
Yeah.
That's what we got.
I've been listening to this for, what, 25 years, Charlie? And I mean, every time it just gets more amazing because there's so many more layers that have just been added, you know.
Stuyvesant apparently was fond, and his wife was fond of birds, and then she received parrots from Curacao. And she must have had a lot of birds in her house. And he had an aviary down on Curacao somewhere because he saw to it that bird seed was sent down.
What about apples?
Birds?
Apples and cherries.
Oh, yeah. I've got a list of the fruit trees. Apples were the most common pears.
And were the apples for cider?
Pear-ball.
Well, cider, but also or likely even to dry, so they'll keep all year long.
Crab apples. From the angle of the audience and this excitement of going through this virtual experience, in the one of the three letters in the archives in Albany, from my first American ancestor's brother-in-law, it confirms that following your instructions, on the next shipment, I will be sending apple seeds from your mother's orchard, which is time. So obviously, that was, besides being a very symbolic kind of thing, there's obviously a vehicle for all that to come in.
Yeah.
And this is
They also try to produce silk here.
yeah,
They send over detailed instructions of how to produce silk.
The vineyards.
They're trying everything.
And we won't go to Everett and his chocolate factory, okay, in the 1750s. Okay. Yeah, that lasted for about a year and a half, I understand. And then the supply dried up in Curacao or became more difficult, unpredictable, and so that came. Yeah, you're right. They tried everything.
Why didn't they do better with vineyards? Because there's so many successful vineyards around New York today.
They were getting a lot of imported wine.
Also, it was colder then, and that may have affected the vineyards'
There's a lot
productivity.
about this in Thunderdome, about the flora, fauna, the edibles unedibles, noxious stuff, and new translation is at Nebraska University Press right now. It's being read, and Bill Starna and I annotated it, and I hope that it's out mid-2007, but it's a gold mine of information. And
Say again what it is.
Pardon?
What is the document?
It's Funderdunk's description of New Netherland, describing.
Is the Dutch text with it, Charlie?
It'll be Dutch text. It'll be a dual language edition. Yeah. Finally, we've talked somebody into using the Dutch as well.
Congratulations.
The only other volume is the Curacao papers, which where we have the
the picture.
yeah,
Yeah.
rough art document.
What about the Dutch West India correspondence?
Surveil what's going on.
When we were trying to match the archaeological plan with the descriptions,
Yeah,
one of the problems that we had to come up with over and over that the botanists kept beating us up over, when we referred to the ethnobotany, was that the descriptions that they often made events were for the entire hegemony of the Dutch settlement. And it wasn't clear how much those descriptions pertain to the tip of Manhattan Island, or are we talking at the upper Hudson, or Long Island, or, and it wasn't.
yeah. The same with the description of Indians and so forth. You don't know whether you're talking about specific tribes,
My feeling
Iroquois.
is that you were probably talking more about Manhattan and environs than the Upper Hudson. I think for the time period in which he was writing, things up north were relatively more rustic, and there wouldn't have been practically conversions or something before, if you will. Jeremiah Rensselaer did do apparently sort of nice garden, which is partially documented. I did another article on that a long time ago. So that he was importing permissions. And a couple other things. You don't know. There may be things they've tried that didn't go so well. And also, I have this uneasy suspicion that Vanderbilt may have been a little optimistic. And I was hoping all these great things would go there. So, but we don't know. Somebody, may have brought something along to try out that no one else had, and maybe it worked. Maybe it didn't.
There's a new authentic target to shoot on, right?
Yeah.
Correct me.
Like I said, I think the garden in winter is a perfect way to look.
Pleasant.
Deep snow, man.
Well, the other thing you've got, so far you've got really clean streets and no manure and a whole lot of things that I think that does need to be discussed a little, not necessarily now, but addressed somehow.
We need to talk dirt.
Yeah,
Pigs, right? Aren't there pigs running around all over the street?
yeah, well, exactly. I mean,
Sure.
And pig reptiles.
Certainly. Everybody else is